Summoner's Drift we go for the 4th time in the day. For the 14th time in the weekend, Vedius. Not often we get to say that.
Super week, we are nearing the end. Only 2 games left to be played, and we have an exciting one. Again, expectations are that G2 are the favorites, as they often are when they play here in Europe. But after their defeat to Origin yesterday, some question marks are coming around. As I think you have to look at coming into week 1, often we see teams struggle. Usually they maybe haven't completely figured out the meta yet. Maybe they are still figuring out their team synergy. Maybe they haven't, you know, they're just making classical macro, micro, small mistakes as they get back into the rhythm of playing on the LEC. And this is a great opportunity for many teams to pick up those very important wins against teams that you typically wouldn't expect. So I don't want to count Vitality out completely. I think they've got a solid comp, but I do think they have to try and find some advantages with this Kalista Thresh combo. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the 2v2 bot lane, but I want to see them get comp ahead. I think that they showcased that they could do it when they played against Schalke at the beginning of the week. The question is, can they do it against the likes of G2 Esports when they have so much peel and defense for this Aphelios in the Tahm Kench and the Galio as well?
I mean, an issue with Kalista is you kind of have to snowball her, right? You kind of have to get her really strong in the mid game because she does fall off as the game goes on. And you already mentioned the scaling AD carries on the side of G2. So if we're getting towards, you know, 3-4 items on both the AD carries, G2 should be in a strong position to close out the game. We'll see if Lavrov and Comp can do anything early on.
And I think it's tied in as well that champions that are quite good into Kalista are ones that can punish her relatively short range and things that can slow her down. And a Galio ultimate on top of his taunt makes things really obnoxious for a Kalista to really get in and start dishing out that damage. So I think these team fights are going to be harder for her to play later on, but you can see they're about to hit the level 2. They're looking for an engage.
Yeah, Lavrov stepping forward with the flay there, gets it early on. The exhaust comes down and the heal is used as well. Death sentence will land, but Mickey doesn't have too many spears in him. The ignite is ticking away and Mickey might fall. One more tick would be enough, but the biscuits and the pots are enough to keep him alive. G2 just about surviving in the bottom lane.
Really like the aggression there from Vitality's bot lane duo, and they do force a number of summoner spells out from the G2 bot lane. With only the Ignite being burnt, this sets up Vitality for success. You can see the Gragas did a full clear up towards his top red side. He's now going to be pathing towards bot. He can look to threaten a dive. They may want to wait for the next set of minion waves, but we've got to see where everyone else is on the map. Jankos right now sitting up towards the top side, looking for a potential cross map. And I think NG can see, okay, there's not a big enough wave towards the bot side of the map. We're not going to take that gamble. We're just going to disengage for now.
Caps and Jankos will make a foray into the red side jungle. Might be looking for a top dive of their own. 3 minutes 30 is when it's going to be as this wave crashes in. But there's only 6 minions there. You'd want a few more because, of course, Sion can use the Decimating Smash to clear these out. He's going to try and do it early on. Gets the stun onto Wonder, but here comes Jankos. Teleport immediately used as the Shield of Duran comes down as well. And only Wonder tanking the tower there. Melitza looking for the Shot Blast combo with that acceleration gate, but can't find the connection. So in the end, G2 win out because they get the summoner and they didn't burn any of their own.
So we did hear the analyst test talking about how Origin matched Caps in the mid lane by utilizing a teleport and trying to get a winning matchup for the mid laner as well. And by doing this, you can mitigate a lot of Caps roaming that he often loves to do. Good teleport from Melitza does dissuade that dive. Caps loses CS as a result of it as well. Now Lavrov taking a lot of damage here.
Gonna get chunked out just a little bit. The fight comes out, but Caps is already on his way towards the bottom lane. NG is gonna be here first. And remember, Mickey, no flash, no exhaust, no way away from the body slam, and there's first blood. Now, teleport's gonna come in from Wonder. Caps is already here with his teammate. Jankos coming down through the river, and NG is gonna get caught out. That gift will be given over to Perks as he secures it with the final auto attack. And Comp and Lavrov will be able to get back underneath their tower. However, Jankos is looking for a little bit more action here. Comp has had to burn his flash. Jankos is just trying to delay this back, make sure the wave pushes into the tower and deny some of that CS from the Vitality bottom lane.
So Jankos is just buying time, wasting time largely to allow Perks to get this push in, and he can get a good reset here because he'll be able to reset before Comp and Lavrov and just making them overall feel very uncomfortable. But if you've ever wanted to see a pampered AD carry, you're looking at one right now, because not only did Caps walk into bot lane, his top laner also TP'd bot just as the wave was arriving as well. And that just goes to show how important Perks is to the success of G2's composition. They need him in a healthy spot. He secures himself a kill. and he will be able to complete the BF sword now as well.
And the reason they knew NG was on that bottom side of the map is where Jankos is backing right now, there was a G2 ward. They spotted him coming through here towards the Razorbeaks. They knew he was going to go towards the Krugs, and so Caps, instead of resetting back towards mid lane, decided I'm going to go bot to make sure we can try and turn this fight around in the bottom lane.
So it ends up being 1-for-1. Vitality have the gold advantage right now because so much farm is being sacrificed in mid and top lane, and if we could quickly swap over to the gold, we can better illustrate the differences. And you can see small advantage in the top lane, big difference between the junglers. Of course, Gragas did get himself that kill. Small advantage in mid with the small deficit coming out from the bot lane, where Perks also got that kill. So these slight CS discrepancies, especially between the junglers, is starting to amount to a small goal lead. Nothing too significant for the time being. Definitely game isn't in disaster state for Vitality just yet, but we want to see them try and capitalize more on the fact that there's no flash on Mickey, and it looks like they're going for a trade.
That's going to get chunked out there. The sentry comes down, forcing Comp just to back away, but the reason Vitality are being so aggressive in the bottom lane is NG is on the Dragon. He almost dies for it. He will be able to secure it with a little bit of help from Melitza. That's the first major objective going over to Vitality. They knew Jankos was on the top side of the map as they had placed a ward on his Gromp earlier on. Makes it relatively safe for Vitality to go for that.
Yeah. Solid so far from Vitality. The game is pretty neutral. I'm kind of looking at next possible steps. With the Drake being gone, you have to take into consideration, do either side look to try and swap? Well, for Comp and Labrov, they probably don't want to swap. They want to stay in that 2 versus 2 because it's easier for them to be able to gain advantages, and it's easier for them to look to try and make plays. The risk is Caps is now level 6, and if we could very quickly jump down to the bot lane and have a look at the wave state, you can see that a wave is going to start stacking in favor of G2 Esports, and Labrov and Comp cannot just keep pushing this. So the thing we have to keep in mind is, will G2 look for a play on towards this bot tower? You can see that Jankos is resetting, his bot side camps are all up, Caps is already roaming and looking to clear out vision in the river. The big thing is that Cabochard has his teleport up. So if G2 do try and force this play, the ability for Vitality to counter is very real.
I quite like the idea of NG coming down here a little bit earlier, looking to see if he can make something happen before Caps and Jankos can come across, but because he's been on the bottom side of the map, his red buff was stolen away by Jankos, and now NG will recall, probably heading up towards the top side.
Okay,
and this makes it a numbers advantage for G2 if they go for the dive.
If we're going to see the dive, it's going to be now or never. The reset is going to come in from Caps. He also has teleport thanks to his unsealed spellbook. Are we going to see the play happen? It looks like Jankos, he hasn't come in from the flank. Galio is hovering. Here comes a TP.
Here we go. Teleport coming in. They're looking for the fight, but there is the Lantern to get Comp out. And it's much ado about nothing. They do get plates, which is always good. Funneling onto that AD carry, funneling onto Aphelios.
But the most crucial thing is they're denying Comp and Labrov gold. And remember, we said it's very important for Vitality to try and get this bot lane ahead. And so far, they have not been able to do it. And losing all these resources is really going to hurt them. So they're going to TP Cabochard down towards the bot side of the map. The swap is likely now going to come through from Vitality. And they're going to look to get this Rift Herald and then trade it for the top side.
So this is something I want to praise NG for. I know during the off-season when the swap was made, when Skeens was taken off the main roster and NG was put on, a lot of people wondered exactly why that might be happening. From what I understand, it's more about how he communicates and how he coordinates the team. And you've seen a couple of times here, he's noticed that the enemy jungler is on the opposite side of the map, and then he's been able to secure these objectives for his team. There is a fight going on. Caps is going to get kicked back here in the middle of the lane. And the Ignite goes down, but a great hook comes out as well. Here comes the Moonlight Vigil. That's not going to connect with the train of pain and finds its destination. And Mickey will pay the price. NG did get the Rift out. It's going to go in for the fight. Continues the battle in this mid lane as Caps falls. Good flash away from the Brub. There's the hook onto Wonder, and Cabochard gets another kill onto Jankos. Wonder tries to dash across the wall. He's straight on Comp, but Comp just pull back the spears. Just rip them through the heart of Ornn if you want to get that kill. Wonder's going to try and chase his way away, but the Predator is on its way. There's no flash. The Bellows Breath is available, but it just walks him back into his death. And Vitality find an incredible fight in the mid lane.
Yeah, this is huge for Vitality. Just when things started to look dire, they kill off, I think, 4 members of G2 Esports in the middle lane, and they're going to balloon this gold advantage to 1.5k now. excellent stuff from the side of Vitality. And let's have a look at how they punish G2. Caps and Melitza go for a bit of a back and forth trade. Melitza's trying to bait Caps in here, but Caps feels safe because he knows that Mickey and Jankos are on their way. Seeing Perks, G2 think that they can go for this all in, but with a really good hook from Lebrov, he's then just buying time for Cabochard to come in from the flank. His ultimate allows him to close the distance very quickly. Mickey ends up dropping. And this was the interesting play here. Jankos and Caps tried to get a collapse onto NG, but they actually just closed the distance between them and Comp. A really good Gragas ultimate comes out from NG to then knock those two members in to allow the rest of Vitality to secure those kills, and then Comp is just kiting back the Ornn to allow Vitality to secure themselves another kill. 4 for 1, I believe, was the overall trade, and this is going to set up Vitality beautifully because now a lot more items are going to come under their belt. You can see the Sunfire is now finished for Cabochard. Comp has finished or is on his way to completing the Blade of the Ruin King with the boots already upgraded and the Bilgewater Cutlass in his inventory. And Vitality is now feeling a lot more comfortable compared to what they were in before.
I've got about a 2,000 gold lead right now, Vedius, and I believe they still have the Rift Herald sitting on NG, so they can use that to try and push in one of these towers. You want it in the next 3 minutes, of course, because plates are still there. See perhaps if you can funnel some of that gold onto Comp, who is only about even with Perks.
Now you can see that Wonder does have teleport, but he's grouped up with his team to help gain priority in the river. They're forcing their way in. Sion is on his way in, does have the ultimate. NG taking a little bit too much damage there as the bot lane gets pushed in from Vitality.
Just trying to get a bit of a chunk here. He's going to knock Mickey away from the team. Comp is on his way as well, and there's Mickey's just going to get hooked up. The rest of G2 say, okay, Mickey, I'm sorry, but the reason you're playing Tahm Kench is to save us, and you can do that by dying in the river. Comp will be given the kill. He's on a killing spree now, and there goes the Rift Herald down mid. Vitality are trying to break open this turret and break open this game.
Yeah, the coordination from G2 seems a little bit off right now as Vitality are just picking them apart. They have good lane assignments, they're pushing out their ways appropriately, and they just catch Mickey out, which enables them to secure this mid tower, and now they can rotate down and secure this Drake for themselves as well.
And we've gone from Perks having a 300 gold lead to Comp having a 700 gold lead. Look at the mid lane. That was a 100 gold difference just a few minutes ago. Now it's a 1,300 gold lead for Melitza. Vitality are getting these advantages, and if they can continue to make plays like this, and if G2 continue to misstep like they have done in a couple of these fights, Vitality are well on their way to a victory.
I mean, the thing is, Vitality are now in the driver's seat, right? They're the ones dictating the next couple of plays that are going to be happening over the next few minutes. And this is where G2 kind of need to put the foot in the brake and say, okay, let's slow the game down. We've got to allow our Aphelios to scale up, because as we mentioned, when you get to the team fights later, it's going to be very difficult to kill this Aphelios with the amount of peel that he has. And the fact that Galio is a little bit behind, the fact that Ornn is a little bit behind, in the grand scheme of things doesn't matter a lot. What matters is where the Aphelios is, and right now he's on track. But G2 still need to get to that point, so they have to slow down while Vitality want to up the aggression. You can see that they have their eyes set on this Drake. They've got Melitza pushing in bot, knowing that he has the teleport. Comp and Lebrov are going to hold the mid wave and make sure that this priority is uncontested. Cabochard's sitting in the river, and I really like this setup from Vitality. They have control, they're going to start this one off, and Jankos at best can try for a steal, but it's likely that G2 are just going to avoid the fight for now.
Of course, the important thing about getting these Drakes in a timely fashion is you keep that clock ticking towards the soul. Yep. It's going to be an Ocean Soul this game, which is so incredibly powerful. And by getting the second one, Vitality just make it ever closer to G2 having to take a fight perhaps that they don't want. G2 will struggle to stall when you're fighting for those third and fourth dragons. Let's have a look at where we are in terms of map state. Most of the outer towers are still pretty healthy. Only that mid lane one for G2 has fallen. And the rest of them are still pretty high up in terms of HP. And I wonder where Vitality will want to move next on the map.
Well, Herald is the next big play. I forget what the timers are between respawns. It's like 6 or 7 minutes, something like that. And which means that Vitality will likely send their bot lane either mid or top in order to be in a position to be able to contest that objective. G2 are committing their duo towards the top side to try and secure the towers. Oh, look at the damage from Melitza.
Chunks out Jankos already. Not that much tankiness on Jankos. Melitza's gone Yumu's first, and here comes Cabo. Mickey is having a whale of a time, just continually getting gobbled up by Vitality. 0-4-0 on the Catfish.
Is he just not going to flash this game? Like, he's had this up for pretty much every single play that's happened.
So the only... I can't tell you about the other ones, but there, if he flashes in like towards his own turret, he gets hit by Cabochon.
I mean,
If
sure.
he flashes down towards River, he gets hit by NG.
Maybe he's just flashing so that, because if he does flash, then Perks gets exposed. You know, in any case, he's held onto it for a
Perks
while.
is pretty exposed right here as well.
Yes, he is.
NG with a good flank across, lands the body slam, lands the cast. Perks tries to heal up, and Mickey is there just in time. He eats him up. Perks healed up with the Severum and that Moonlight Vigil. Now they're trying to turn it around, but LeBrob once again hits a great play. The Fate's Call drags him out of the hero's entrance, and Caps is a little bit too heroic, a little bit too late. Cabochon, though, is going to get knocked over the Call of the Forge God. Once again, LeBrob hits a hook across the wall and goes in with a play, and now Comp's going to open up. Spear after spear after spear into the backs of G2. They have to run down towards the bottom side of this lane, and Vitality get everyone out alive, kill Perks, kill Mickey. They are 8-2 up with a 4,000 gold lead, Vedius.
Yeah, I love the fact that Vitality are keeping the momentum going. They're utilizing this Scion extremely well. Every time he's got his ultimate up, and every time G2 try to force something, Cabochon is there and ready to engage. And you can see that G2's like, okay, it's fine. Well, we're ahead in tempo right now. We can move up towards the top side of the map, and we can just start threatening this tower. But Melita's like, okay, I'm going to chunk them out, but let's go. The TP comes in from Scion. This is when Mickey, I think he's saying, like, I'm body blocking for my team. I'll sacrifice my life so that Perks can get away. But this is a very good punish from Vitality, who can now trade a tower back in their favor. Perks is hovering around, wants to try and get XP, and NG's managed to sneak in behind, and Perks is like, oh, this is very dangerous. Smart thinking here from Perks to use his ultimate to get that chunk of health back, and then Mickey with a clutch ulti to come in and save him as well. You think, oh, this is where G2 turn around, but it's still 3 versus 5, and a really good play from LeBrob to then be brought to safety by Comp was just excellent execution. LeBrob then here lands another clutch hook onto Caps, or rather, he lands it onto Wonder so that he can then get in, land another flay to allow the rest of Vitality to then follow up. And the execution of this team fight from Vitality is just so well done. G2 getting a little bit greedy there as well, thinking that they were stronger than they actually were. And now Vitality set up to secure themselves this Rift Herald, and they're continuing to elevate the pace of this game.
They really are. Rift Herald will allow them to open up one more of these turrets. We have seen the bot lane tower fall for Vitality, the top lane tower fall for G2. G2 to just shove in that lane. I believe Wonder was taking it as we saw that fight go on in the top lane. And Betty, I've been talking to LS a little bit this morning, right? Because I'm trying to be more of an analyst. I'm trying to learn more about the game, right?
Sure.
And whenever I see longer lanes like this...
You can't freeze right now.
No, this is what... But I want to know why. I want you to explain.
Because the dragon spawns in a minute.
There we go. But, like... Vedius, I might know this, okay? But let's pretend there's an audience listening to us.
I'm just saying.
Where you can explain why freezing would be a bad idea in this situation.
Because in this context, I mean, you always have to look at objectives first. That's the first thing. When you look at freezing, you have to decide what else is there to play for on the map. And usually you do freezing because there's nothing to play for, and there's no need to just keep giving farm to the enemy team, so you can kind of reserve farm for yourself. In this case, though, Vitality have Herald. They also have a pretty substantial gold advantage, so trying to freeze when at a deficit is harder anyway, and Dragon is about to spawn. So if you concede that, like, you could argue that, yes, you can concede it to get some gold into your back pocket, and right now, what G2 is doing is they're trading a tower in order to trade for pressure. So they're trying to get a little bit more gold back into the pockets of the Aphelios, and you'll notice he's trying to push that wave all the way in so that it can't be frozen towards the top side, and the wave will actually bounce back towards him so that resources will keep getting funneled into him. But the cost of this is, of course, the third Drake of the game. G2 recognize that they can't afford to take this fight right now, and Vitality are going to pick up this objective, and it takes them closer to the Dragon Soul, which of course will put them in a very good position, given that, of course, you've got to remember they're already in a very good position, of course. And now that the game is in a state where Baron is the next objective that spawns at 20 minutes, now you can start thinking about maybe there's a space for us to freeze, maybe we can set that objective up. But again, because of how far ahead Vitality are, they could then just force Baron. So.
Or they can come down and break the freeze pretty deliberately.
In this state, it's hard.
I understand.
You've just got to, objectives are the first thing that you always have to think about when in the context of freezing.
Thank you for that informative piece there. What I wanted out of my question, and we'll see how Vitality decide to play the next couple of minutes. Because as you say, Baron up in 30 seconds. They do still have that 4,000 gold lead. Runans and Blade of the Mooing King now just completed on Comp. The Black Claver and the Yumus are sitting on Melita. He's got the slightly magical footwear. He's decided not to upgrade those as of yet. Perks behind in terms of itemization. Only with the Infinity Edge and the Zeal. We'll be behind in terms of gold as well, because there's a 20 CS difference, but a 3 kill difference between those 2 AD carries. And we'll have to see where Vitality step up next.
Well, as mentioned, the Baron is up and available right now. But that's not the primary objective that they want to play through. They're going to concede pressure around that objective so that they can utilize Melitza in a side lane. That's the thing that we haven't really talked about a lot this game, is that Melitza, no one can really stop him in the 1 versus 1, especially with the advantage that he has. So they can continue to play around him as he just generates constant pressure in one aspect of the map, and then Vitality group up as 4 and then kind of collapse through him. So that's what they just did to the bot side of the map. Caps wanted to try and trade on the top side, but now Vitality are making a quick rotation up, so he's going to be forced to disengage. I'm not sure if the minions will be able to finish that tower up.
We'll have a look. Don't think so. I think Melitza's just going to come across the wall. It did feel like Vitality gave Caps quite a lot of time there in the top lane by himself. They managed to get the bot tier 1, bot tier 2, so yet to the best of them. But Lebrov caught out just a little bit here as Mickey came in with the Abyssal Voyage. Fate's Call's going to get him out, and he'll be fine for the moment.
Nice sidestepping there from Lebrov. The play that this creates for G2 is to reclaim some control around the Baron. You'll notice that they need to reset because they need to restock on their wards and also their control wards. So they're just going to very quickly go through the river, see if they can clear anything out, and they get a primary reset. So now the vision is all stocked up to be in a position to try and stall out and contest this Baron. The other thing that you now have to think about is the Dragon Soul as well. We've been talking a lot about it. That's going to be spawning in about 2 minutes' time. It's not something that G2 have to immediately be worried about, but it is something that Vitality will be constantly thinking about. Because if they secure it, the game becomes very difficult for G2 to then turn around with the amount of sustain they'll have and the amount of damage that they'll have with their composition. This game will pretty much be locked in for Vitality. Ooh, QSS coming out from Comp as well. I think that's a very important pickup when you think about the CC that's coming out from the side of G2.
And you've got Wonder with the CC with the Brittle. You've got the Gravitum gun from Aphelios. You've got the Shielded Durand, that Taunt coming out from Galio as well. So definitely makes sense, especially since Kalista is one of those slightly shorter range who can be caught out by Galio in the Taunt pretty easily. You have to be dancing around the edge of it. G2 are going to set up vision down towards the Ocean Dragon. They've got a minute and a half before it spawns, but what I think they're hoping is that Vitality make a step into it without checking. NG is going to stop that from happening as he pops the Scryer's Bloom and will spot out all of G2. He now pushes in by himself and doesn't want to go too far because Cabochard is not on this side of the map. He's off towards top. Jankos looking for NG. Can't quite find him. And this will mean that you have a large push advantage for Vitality on the top side. They can get vision around the Baron. They could start it if they wanted, but of course, NG was not there with them at the start of this play.
It's also a gamble to start it because you're also giving an opportunity then for G2 to find a team fight where they can actually...
Oh, here it goes. NG just running straight into the taunt. He might be dead before he can even get anything off. Lebrov's going to land a hook onto Mickey, but here comes the pain train from the backside as we can see Cabochard trying to get on towards them. Quarter of the Forge God comes out, but Cabochard and Melitza are just ripping through the backline. It's not even about comp anymore. It's about Melitza and Cabochard working as a duo to kill off the backline. Cabo gets a double. Wonder's going to fall, and it's going to be Melitza or Cabo who secures him. A 4-for-2 exchange in favor of Vitality. They've got 20 seconds on the Dragon if they want it. That's an Ocean Soul, Vedius.
It's G2 that start the fight, but it's Vitality that finishes it, and they executed upon that beautifully. Cabochard just diving onto the backline. Execution at Sion, getting that kill onto Perks. Caps looking for a sneaky play. I don't know if he can one-shot Comp, but he will find him.
Going to try to, but Comp is just running the opposite direction. Caps is going to try and get the one-shot, but
a good flash
away from the Justice Punch, and Comp goes on a rampage. Yet to die this game, 4-0-7. One better than Cabochard, who's sitting at 4-0-6. The Abyssal Voyage is going to take a little short hop, but this is Jankos in the belly as he's looking to try and upset the apple cart. Looking for the steal, but already the smite comes down. Vitality, 24 minutes in, Vedius. They are 13-4 up against G2.
Yeah, Vitality are playing extremely well, and here we see NG just get obliterated off the bat, but the crucial thing is Comp isn't touched, so he's sitting on the back line, just chipping away at his opponents. Then Cabochard comes in, and all of G2's attention comes onto focusing him. Yes, Comp does get exhausted, but notice the burst that comes out from Melitza and Cabochard on the back line. The protection is not there for Perks. He instantly drops, and with him gone, the damage isn't available anymore. So even though Vitality start that fight off in a 4 versus versus 5 deficit, they're still able to execute so well upon it that they're able to come out on top.
But I just want to take a minute here, Vedius. This is the same Vitality that only got 2 wins in Spring Split, right?
Well, no, because they have 3 new players.
It's the same team. It's the same organization.
I mean, sure.
What a change for this organization. In week 1, to be battling against G2, to be 6,000 gold ahead at the 25-minute mark, to have an Ocean Soul, to now have a Baron. This is such a transformation. This is like Schalke in spring to Schalke in summer level of transformation for this team.
Exactly. I think Vitality played extremely well in the early game. They found a very good fight around the mid lane, and I think that they've continuously found good fights, and they've done a great job of accelerating the pace of the game. And one of the big criticisms we had for Vitality last split was that they could only really play around Cabochard, but now we're seeing a lot more ways in which they can play, and it feels like Vitality's game plan has been just kill Mickey as often as we can.
Well, I mean, Cabochard got 2 flashes out there just by using his ult, and now Perkz doesn't have the protection of Mickey. He does have Caps to save him as he's able to get away. The Fate's Call comes out. Caps dodges it with a Justice Punch. That was actually beautiful, but the play comes in. Caps is just going to get demolished. He tried to do everything he could. Mechanically, it was brilliant, but you are just too far behind to win out with pure mechanics alone. 7,300 gold lead for Vitality. An Ocean Drake, a Baron, a 2-man advantage for the next 30 seconds. This could be Vitality breaking this game.
There are still 3 members of G2 left alive, but with how strong Vitality are, they can just run through the base. They have a wave stacking up in bot lane as well. They'll likely take that. And then Vitality, they're on track to take down G2 and get a big win.
What a transformation. They're going to come down towards this bottom lane. They've already taken the mid lane in here. Cabochard has prepped the wave, pushing in. They're going to be able to take this turret as well. Jankos now back alive. Caps on his way in just 4 seconds time. And it might stall out the game. A 5v5 perhaps is not what Vitality want as of yet. They're going to back away and get those next items. I believe Comp has enough to get himself that Death Dance. Yep, sitting on 1,300, so I think that's actually might need a little bit more, if I remember correctly. But he does have a 2,000 gold lead over Perkz, and he's in a very strong position. Only 1 lane left for them to push. Baron is about to run out, but they will have the option to wait for it if they so desire. Instead, Cabochard's going to TP up to the lane, try and get that Baron buff on some of those minions and push them in. And we'll see how G2 are able to react to this, because they're currently having to defend 3 lanes at once.
You can see that G2 is trying to push out some of these waves to slow down the assault from Vitality, but it's not going to last for very long. Miliz is already in mid lane, will just hit level 16 and is very strong on the Jace right now. They're also shoving in top, and G2, they have the right... Wow, Vitality rather have the right set on ending out this game. Very impressive performance from Vitality. Off that big early advantage in the mid lane, they were able to keep the snowball going. They've at every single opportunity been able to outplay G2, and they're on track to ending this Super Week 2-1. Only 1 tower remains, 1 inhibitor remains. They still have a bit of time left on their Baron buff. They're going to keep the pressure up. But Vitality, they can be patient. Hook lands.
Mickey has no flash. Remember, he burned it in the bottom lane, and now he is done for. Quarter Fortune comes out. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, Milica's just 2v1. Look at Caps, he's got no health. Jankos has to jump away. And Milica, after a long wait, is finally making himself known on the LEC stage, taking out not just Cap, but also Jankos in that play. Vitality can push in the final lane here, but there are supers double in the bottom lane. 1 coming through mid in just a few moments' time. LeBron once again landing the hook, and NG goes in, goes golden, and perhaps that's the gold meta. Perkz ults over to Narnia in entirely the wrong direction. He's gone. So is Jankos, so is Caps, so is any hope G2 had of winning this game. Vitality, in probably the biggest upset of the weekend, are going to take down G2 and stake a claim for playoffs in an incredible performance.